You are Locked On Syracuse, your daily podcast on the Syracuse Orange. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
I think a lot of us, including myself, believe it's going to be Jamie Tremble, 6'4", 210-pound sophomore. 2024, he was a 4-star recruit, one of the top recruits overall in Syracuse's class that year. Jamie Tremble's story is a little bit fascinating, right? He actually committed to Syracuse in June of 2023. That was before the 2023 season, which means Fran Brown was not the head coach at Syracuse. He was the defensive backs coach over at Georgia. Dino Babers was the head coach of Syracuse when Jamie Tremble decided to commit to the Orange in June of 2023. Obviously, in 2023, the season, they do make a bowl, but it does not necessarily go how Syracuse envisioned. They wanted a better year for Dino in order to extend him another year. They decided no. And so Dino Babers is let go. We don't have to rehash all that. But when Dino Babers was let go, keep in mind, I was not with this channel yet. But just keep in mind, I was well aware of the situation of what was going on. After all, I was a student and working with WAER and Z89 and all that stuff there. I was worried that Syracuse might lose Jamie Tremble when they let go of Dino Babers. Jamie Tremble is one of the top recruits to commit to Syracuse in a very long time. They could not afford to necessarily lose him at that point. But fortunately, Fran Brown gets hired. He meets with Jamie Tremble. I believe it was over Zoom. Jamie Tremble visits campus. It all works out. Tremble stays with his commitment at Syracuse. Great. So in 2024, Tremble played a little bit, but not in a way where you would really notice him all that much because he appeared in 12 games, but for the most part, he was used on special teams. And let's all be honest, we don't necessarily recognize a lot of the special teams players. We only really recognize them when they go wrong. And well, they did go wrong a lot last year, if we're being honest. But the point is that on the stat sheet, you're not really looking at special teams all that much as far as a guy makes a tackle. But with Jamie Tremble, he caught one pass for 19 yards, which came against Holy Cross, and that's okay. It's unfortunate that he didn't get the redshirt year because he appeared in 12 games, but that's essentially what happened with him last year. There was no reason for him to play all that much. I believe we talked about that a year ago when we were talking about the tight ends. There was no real reason to. They had Oronde Gadsden, who was the starter, clearly. Dan Villari was clearly going to be the backup. And they had another player in Max Mang who served as another blocking tight end. In other words, really, Jamie Tremble, there was no need for him to play last season. I wish he did have his red shirt, but he did not. So what does that mean for 2025 in Jamie Tremble? Well, I think we all kind of wanted to take that big step. It wouldn't hurt if he broke out and had a massive year. It wouldn't. Scouting reports do suggest that Jamie Tremble is more of a receiving tight end than a blocking tight end, which leads myself and probably many of you to think the same thing, which is, could he be the next Oronde Gadsden for Syracuse football? Maybe, because Oronde Gadsden was a receiving tight end. After all, he was a converted wide receiver. Maybe that can be Jamie Tremble. And Fran Brown, he has said about Jamie Tremble, he said it at ACC Media Day, that he loves his development, he loves his work ethic, he's really learning a lot from Dan Villari, who's currently ahead of him on the depth chart. And Fran Brown also said that, he said it to us, really, that we're going to like how Syracuse uses Jamie Tremble for 2025. So what's there to make of this? Because Jamie Tremble could be the starter in 2026, but what about the season that's coming in less than 40 days, right? That's what's on my mind right now. Probably your mind too. Who cares about 2026? We can talk about 2026 when that time comes, but right now, let's talk about 2025. I think Jamie Tremble, assuming all goes according to plan, which is that he keeps working hard, he keeps developing, you could see his role grow over the course of the season. Right now, Fran Brown openly stating that, hey, Dan Villari is the starting tight end, tells me that Dan Villari right now at this very moment is probably a better player than Jamie Tremble. Because, look, Fran Brown's track record is he's going to play who he believes gives his team the best chance to win. Yeah, we want to see the young guy play and we want to see the young guy flourish because he's the young guy. But at the end of the day, he's going to play the best player. And so he's naming Dan Villari the starter. Probably means he's better than Jamie Tremble at this moment. But I'm not going to bury Jamie Tremble because of it. I'm not going to sit here and say, he's a bust now. He's not going to work out for Syracuse football. What a shame. 4-star recruit. No. What I'm hoping for, and I think this is a realistic expectation, is that Jamie Tremble flashes. Maybe he catches 25, 30 passes. He has a game or two where you're saying, wow, look at him. 100 yards against this team. Look at that 50-yard touchdown. Look at that big play that he just made for Syracuse. He's another weapon on this team. I hope that by midseason with Jamie Tremble, we're sitting here saying he's got to play more. Because even though Dan Villari is the starter, again, this is his last year of eligibility. And he's not Oronde Gadsden. You're not going to sit here and say, he's totally blocking Jamie Tremble. He ain't blocking Jamie Tremble. If Jamie Tremble emerges and shows that he's worth more playing time, he's going to get on the field more. It's really that simple. So overall, the expectation and the goal for Jamie Tremble at this point is, look, he might not have this big breakout 2025 season. I'm not going to necessarily write it off, but I don't think that's going to happen. The goal should be, hey, he flashes, he catches some passes this upcoming season, and overall, we're looking at 2026 and saying, hey, Jamie Tremble is going to be a big factor for Syracuse that season.